It's time to be kind with Marley Q.
Because the time to be kind to ourselves, each other, and the world is now. 1, 2, 3. Hi, Parker. I'm Marley Q, and welcome to episode 11 with Andi Constantine. Andi is the founder of Going for Smiles, which encourages kind connections amongst friends and strangers alike by sharing smiles when people least expect it. She says she's just a regular person with a full-time job and a passion for making people smile, but really, she's a superhero and a Parker who performs acts of random kindness just like us. The tagline for her movement is "Share smiles, they go for miles." And even though we've never met in person, our virtual smiles have traveled over 1,300 miles from New York to Miami and now to wherever you are listening from. Let's welcome Andi to the show and keep the smiles going for many more miles. Thank you so much for making the time to be kind today.
Great to be with you, and thanks so much for having me on.
Well, I would love to kick off our conversation with our awesome story of how we even connected. How we're here today having this conversation, because the truth is we've actually never met in person.
True.
We're virtual friends with such a aligned mission and vision and a passion for kindness and spreading it. So would you mind just sharing how the universe brought us together?
Of course. I think that is just a wonderful example of how you can connect with people regardless of where you are and how mutual friends can bring you together. So one of my friends who I ended up meeting a few years ago at an event that someone else brought me to, ended up meeting you when she was in Florida on a vacation. And I still remember getting her message one day last year, and that day I was even wearing my Smile t-shirt. It's this t-shirt that has the Smile location marker and it says Smile down the side. And my friend Desi texted me saying, I met someone who you should totally connect with. You guys have such a shared vision, and I feel like you're going to get along great and become friends. And can I introduce you? And I remember taking a selfie with my Smile t-shirt and sending it back saying, absolutely, I would love to meet her. She sounds incredible. And you have been even more incredible than I could have imagined. And it took a little while, as it sometimes does, to coordinate, first having our conversation, but that did not diminish at all the amazing connection we had once we did chat and had this realization that we both have been trying to get the message out there about encouraging people to connect and have shared kindness and share smiles, and your mission about Spark and encouraging people to park is just so uplifting and it gave me the encouragement and, further belief that really kindness is collaborative. And if we're open to seeing the kindness and the wonderful people who are out there, it's just going to come to us. And it's just this beautiful way that the universe brought us together. And even though we haven't met in person, we definitely share lots of virtual hugs and really good, connection of our ideas and ways to get the message out.
She was just so excited. I'm like, that's it. We're instant partners. So I want to thank our mutual friend, Desi, for connecting us, for making the time to be kind and send that email introduction. But also to you for making the time to follow up with me multiple times, if I may add, because that was a very eventful time for me over the summer. And it did take a couple of times to reach out until we finally were able to connect and make that call. So thank you for the kind persistence, because sometimes it does take a few tries, right? Before you connect. And had you not done that, maybe we would have, kind of let that fall in through the cracks, the opportunity to connect with someone, because we're so busy and we're always on this go, 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 right? So I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you for that.
I appreciate that. And it's something that I think identifies a point and theme that is really valuable, which is that we are very busy, but at the same time, we do make time for each other, and it's a two-way street to continue to engage with people and to give people the benefit of the doubt, to say, hey, people are busy, but they do respect and appreciate me. And I feel like this can be a really good connection. even if we didn't necessarily have anything in common, but we just had this mutual friend and, new acquaintance for you that you met Desi at an event, that it's like you just have confidence in other people who are connecting you to say, I'm going to take my time. I'm going to meet this person and connect, and then we'll just see how this goes from there. And it just shows that, one engagement, like the phone call conversation that we had and the conversations and messages since then, that show how just giving people the benefit of the doubt and the time and being open to conversations rather than just kind of closing things off and being like, oh, people are too busy, can really help us grow and connect and be kinder to one another and have such a positive influence.
Absolutely. And create this web, this collaboration, like you said, of people that are out there trying to make the world a better place, trying to change the world through smiles, through kindness. And I just think it's so great. Would you mind sharing with those that are listening your story, please, of going for smiles and how you got this all started? I love your story. So I want to give you to share how this all got started a couple years ago.
Of course. So Going for Smiles started in December of 2018, but it was actually a rebrand of something that I had done a few years prior, which was called Happiness 367. And basically, when I tell people that it was every single day for a year and a day that I wrote a new quote on a card and left it in random places around Manhattan for people to find when they least expect it, there's this like emphatic staccato in people's voice where they say every single day. And it's surprising, but at the same time, it was an experience that I think helped me find myself through the process of helping others. And so to give Going for Smiles its true weight, I feel like I have to go back to that experience in 2016 and say that Happiness 367 was actually born out of people asking me, oh, why are you so happy? Why do you smile so much? Why do you try to look on the bright side of things? And like a nail that ultimately goes through a wall, those comments did end up changing me and changed me for the worse, because I started thinking, oh, I shouldn't be so happy. I shouldn't try to encourage people to smile.
I can't tell you the number of times I've heard that. Why are you so happy?
Yeah.
Or I leave the room, you're like, what is she so happy about? Please continue. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just so relate with what you're saying.
Thank you for sharing that, because it's something that, so many of us, even those who appear so happy and who are happy, like we all have our complexity of emotions. And it's interesting when we've both experienced that, where there'll be this perception that, oh, because we look happy in the environments where people see us, that we always are, and there's something fake. But it's not. It's just a way of being. And it's something that comes from a variety of reasons.
Comes as a result of practicing that way of being.
Exactly.
So when people say, just wake up happy, well, it's as a result of practicing happiness.
Definitely.
Right? So that's why it's natural, because you practice it so much.
Yeah. You remind yourself to be happy. You also remind yourself to be okay with the times when you're not happy. And there also are many reasons why we have maybe like society isn't ready for all of us to like wear our emotions on our sleeve and be everything at the same time at once. And so it was really interesting to get this kind of response from people who haven't been practicing, who have maybe more of an inclination to not be comfortable with people being happy. And it just affected me to the point that I ended up kind of changing. And people around me, like my family and friends, had kind of noticed this. And it's really interesting that kind of like a storybook realization. I remember I was living in Midtown Manhattan, and it was really busy 6th Avenue, and I was seeing people coming out of the PATH train entrance and the subway, and I was just thinking, like, who are all those people? What are their stories? Do they have a good day, a bad day? Are they going home happy or sad? Are they celebrating something? Are they mourning something? And I was just thinking, we all have so many stories and complexities that don't necessarily come out altogether. So what can I do to inspire those people who asked me why I was so happy? Maybe those people were actually people who could have used a smile themselves, but not from another person, like a smile that maybe could have been sparked by another person, but that came from them. And so that's what inspired me to write these quotes on index cards. They were just like plain yellow or purple, blue. They were colorful index cards. And so I hand wrote quotes and attached a smile sticker and left them in random places around Manhattan. And it was really amazing to get the stories from people who found them, and they would post it to Instagram with a hashtag, and they would say how this really made their day. Or there was a woman visiting from London on holiday, and she found the card I left in Bryant Park, shared it. And then about 2 months later, I went to London, and she saw my post from the London Bridge, and she said, "Oh, that's my backyard. You're here." And then we ended up having this whole conversation in the comments of the one post I had put up of the London Bridge with a smile card, and she was giving me recommendations of where to go. I had never met this woman either. It was just because she found this smile card. And so it was a really great experience where I feel like by helping others smile when they least expect it, I was also helping myself reconnect with who I am and embrace the kindness and the empathy, which unfortunately kindness and empathy and being a caring person aren't always celebrated in the corporate world. And I have had several corporate positions in marketing and strategy and finance since I graduated from Georgetown in 2012. And the experience of going for smiles as a side project, I'm a full-time, employed regular person. It's not like I try to do something that's really special. It's just like as I go about my day, it helped me reconnect with myself and bring that part forward. And so after finishing Happiness 367, I did not want to post to Instagram anymore. I had my fill. But I continued writing these quotes and just giving them out to people. And then, the rhetoric out there between 2016, 2017, 2018, it doesn't matter what your political inclinations are. We can all agree that it's very divisive language and hurtful speech and name calling. And again, it doesn't matter what your political beliefs are. I think that we can all agree that we need to be kinder to one another and inspire each other to be more open to different ideas and points of view and backgrounds. And, diversity is really important. And so friends, again, had mentioned, it would be really nice to have smile cards again so I can pass out and so we can spread the message again. And so I started writing these quotes cards again, but then I realized it would be really great, instead of encouraging people to smile when they least expect it, to encourage connection. And so that's when I started going for smiles, which, the mantra is that share smiles, they go for miles. And
yes.
So these smile cards are whimsical, and they have actually a space on it for people to leave their mark and then pass it along and grow the smile chain. And, the cards encourage connection with friends and with strangers alike, and they keep a history of the kindness they inspire. And so I started this goingforsmiles.com website so that people can track their card and share their story, whether or not they have a smile card or not, just like a place for people to look to know that they can read something that's positive and uplifting. And that was one of the big things that you and I had in common, where with your Spark coins, you wanted to encourage people to pass along the currency of kindness. And so, we're two people who live in two separate states who were brought together by a wonderful person who knew both of us, and it helped us, come together and find ways to build our message and collaborate, because kindness is collaborative. And I think that it helps spread the message of why Going for Smiles started.
I think that by making kindness collaborative and not thinking that it's this individual mission, which I've been there, where I think that I'm the founder of, this movement, and I'm the one that needs to take the lead and take the charge and always be putting this forward. That could be really draining and really exhausting. And you kind of get burnt out because it's all this outward only energy, where when you realize that kindness is collaborative and you see there's countless people out there that are all trying to make the world a better place in quote unquote, not so special big ways, right? We all have normal, jobs. Nobody here is trying to change the world in this like mega incredible way. And at the same time, it is the way that we change the world in an awesome and special and incredible way is through these small acts of kindness. And when we realize that we can band together and that it is a collective movement, that's what makes it special. That's what makes it powerful. That's what makes the ripple effect of kindness spread worldwide. So I love that. And we not only do we have this shared vision and mission and a similar way of spreading it, but we also have very similar challenges.
Yeah.
Very similar challenges with the project and with trying to inspire people to actually pass it on, right? To actually be the spark and park, like I say, right? To be the spark and pass it on to somebody else. We both found the similar challenge of people wanting to hang on to their card, wanting to hang on to their spark coin until they found the quote unquote right person or the right time. Or, it had to be special enough to pass it on. So I'd love for you to just share a little bit of your experience with that challenge and maybe how you've started to work to address it and what we can do, those listening, to understand that there's really no right or wrong person that we need to wait for to come along in order to pay a smile or to park.
Yeah, it's a really interesting trend that I had observed. And then when we spoke and you mentioned that you experienced the same thing, then to a certain extent, it helped me recognize it wasn't me, which I think is so important to remind ourselves that sometimes when something isn't working, it's not like we're doing something wrong or inefficient or ineffective. It's just a common theme that will affect anybody. And that awareness comes from connecting with each other the way we connected. And we both agreed and represented our experiences, which had to do with people looking for the right person. And, it's so interesting how when I give a smile card to somebody, often, they say, oh, this is amazing. And wow, it's so cool of you to do this. And I'm definitely going to pass it on. And how does this work? And I'm like, well, it's really simple. You just first enjoy the moment and enjoy the kindness and, how the smile chain has come to you. And then leave your mark on the card with a star and initials. There's a space where you can see how many people the chain has touched. And then pass it along to anyone, literally anybody. And people say they'll do it, but then other people will come to me maybe a week to even a month later, like one of my colleagues, he was sitting next to me, and he told me how, he's waiting for the right person. And I asked him why, and he said, well, I want it to be special. And he told me that like 3 months ago. He still has the card. And I think that what I've realized is either people are waiting for the right person because they think such a thing exists, or they're just uncomfortable striking up conversation with strangers. And so in terms of striking up conversation with strangers, that's a little bit, I would say, easier to address because it comes with practice. It comes with just saying hi to someone or offering a compliment or letting someone know that their scarf fell on the ground and they don't want it to get trampled. The more you do it, the easier it'll get. But I can understand it's difficult to talk to strangers and it's still taboo. But I think that, we all have a good gut check, I would imagine, that, we're not going to talk to someone dangerous, but very few people out there actually are dangerous, even though the availability bias would have us thinking that, everyone's a danger to us. It's not true. So I think that in terms of being uncomfortable talking to strangers, it just starts with us having confidence in our gut check, knowing that there are good people out there, and knowing that just smiling at someone, just trying to connect with them, just trying to say, have a great day, or you look nice, or holding the elevator for somebody who's coming, and also trying to head home for the day, that it can go a long way. What I've learned through giving out the smile cards is, unfortunately, so far, I don't actually think that acts of kindness are truly random. And I ended up writing about this last year And then again, more recently, towards the end of last year. And the first article was called Random Acts of Kindness Aren't as Random as We Think. And what I feel like I've recognized is that there are three types of people in this world. There are the signal boosters who are genuinely happy. There are the mass crusaders who are invisibly unhappy. And there are the kindness lighthouses who are visibly unhappy. And I think that when we perform acts of kindness, people tend to look for those who they feel they'll have, quote, the biggest bang for their buck on. Those who are visibly unhappy, who you can absolutely help and you'll make an impact in their life because you can see them go from unhappy to happy. You can see something visibly change right in front of your eyes. And unfortunately, going for the visibly unhappy overlooks the other two segments of the population, the mass crusaders who aren't confident wearing their emotions on their sleeve or feel like society really is not ready to have us all doing that. And the signal boosters, the genuinely happy people, the people who do have that necessary capacity to continue passing along the kindness, but they need the kindness themselves. Like you and I said, we are happy people, but we also have had our down days. And in those times, we've needed people to prop us up, not say, why are you so happy? And so I think that the problem with trying to look for the right person is that we tend to overlook the other segments. And I believe that the invisibly unhappy segment of the population is actually the largest and is a place where we can make a big impact, because those who are these mass crusaders, through an act of kindness, will end up being put ideally on the path of healing. And then we'll have even more motivation to continue passing it forward when they do get to the point of having that necessary capacity to pass kindness forward. And so that's why I say that, and we say that it's important to just be kind to anyone, truly, genuinely be random rather than wait for the right person, because right doesn't exist. We don't know what someone is dealing with. We don't know, like the inspiration back in 2016 when I was looking out my window and thinking about what are all these people's stories. We don't know what people's stories are. We just know that if we positively engage with someone, whether they're genuinely happy, whether they're invisibly unhappy, whether they're visibly unhappy, we're going to have an impact, and it will positively impact, and we can, be the change that we wish to see in the world all together, collectively.
Absolutely. That's really where you see how kindness is a superpower every day. I absolutely love your story. I love your mission. I love goingforsmiles.com. I want everybody listening to check it out, whether you have a card or not. I know that you have a specific page on goingforsmiles.com. That's a collaborative page. Can you mention what that's all about?
So on Instagram, I found that there are hundreds and probably thousands and tens of thousands of pages that I still haven't yet discovered of accounts dedicated to spreading the message of kindness. There are, accounts that have just a couple hundred followers. There are accounts that have tens of thousands of followers. But I think that the point is that there are so many people out there who are trying to spread the message of kindness, who are just going about their day and trying to do their part to spread the message and to encourage people who come across their content to be reminded of the goodness that's out there. And I have also at the same time heard many people talk about, their message and their purpose of kindness. And I just haven't seen that many accounts out there who are encouraging the message of the other people. And so I wanted to create this collaborative page where people who go on to goingforsmiles.com will not just see me and what I'm doing, they'll see what everyone else is doing. And they'll have a direct link to be able to explore and see, wow, look at how many accounts there are. Look at how many people out there have had the inspiration to try and do their part to spread kindness and help us discover that, kindness isn't a zero-sum game. It's not like if I build up someone else that I'm going to somehow lose a piece of the pie. It's not the business world. Kindness builds. It's, a never-ending, infinite opportunity for us to build up the purpose that we have. And so that's why I started this, or I set up this collaborative page, because I wanted people to see how much kindness there is out there, and that kindness is collaborative, and that the best way to spread our message is to also prop up the kindness efforts of other people.
Yes, yes, yes. There are hundreds, thousands, if not millions of superheroes out there, of Parkers out there that are spreading kindness every day. So what can I create? What can I do? How can I use my voice and a platform to shine the light on all these other kind people who are doing amazing, incredible, and special things while still living their life and going about their day? And it's so important to, like you said, prop people up and shine the spotlight and celebrate all the kindness that's out there. Because in doing, we are turning up the volume on kindness. It's really giving a louder voice. Can we be louder about kindness? You know, I was raised, like many people, with the mindset that you don't brag. You don't brag about the kind things that you do. You have to be humble, and, you know, you can do that, but just not tell anybody about it. And I get it. And I disagree completely, because we have to shine a spotlight on all the positive and all the kindness that exists all around us every day. In every person, it's there. The spark is always there. It's just up to us to be that. And thank you for being that. And thank you for what you're doing in your life to make time to be kind and celebrate others and create this collaborative movement to inspire more people, to inspire more hope, to have people see with their own eyes how many other people are out there trying to make the world a better place with simple acts of kindness that most of the time don't cost anything at all other than just the of your time. Thank you so much for making the time to be kind today and joining me on the podcast.
I truly enjoyed this conversation and hope you did too. Andi strongly believes that everyone smiles in the same language, and we should all partner together to turn up the volume on kindness, now more than ever. And I couldn't agree more. To join the Going for Smiles movement, just visit this episode's show notes at marleyq.com/11. There, you'll find direct links for her website, Instagram, and even Andi's blog on Medium with some of the great articles referenced in this episode. Remember, smiles go for miles, so be the spark and share your smile today, and use hashtags #GoingForSmiles and WePark to turn up the volume on kindness together. Thank you for listening. If you're inspired to make a little more time to be kind, please subscribe, leave a kind review, and share with a friend who would appreciate this podcast too. Thank you for being the spark of kindness. See you next time.